So he was talking very enthusiastically and seemed to be telling a very entertaining story. And at one point, he started laughing. And so I started laughing because I felt connected somehow, even though I didn't understand.
You're spending 5 minutes with a missionary. This podcast is a window into missionary life. It's fun, it's personal, it's real, and it's always an adventure. During Season 2, LCMS missionaries serving around the globe share what it's like to get to know people where they live. Next, we'll hear from Hayden Rensner, a missionary in the Czech Republic. She works with the local Lutheran church in the Czech Republic to provide outreach opportunities in English. She also tutors students from the Luther Academy in Riga, Latvia, in English.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hayden Rensner, and I am a missionary in the Czech Republic. I have been here for 6 months now, so a lot of what I have been doing the past few months has been being introduced to people and getting to know people. So something that I have observed about people here in the Czech Republic is that they seem to be a little more private, a little more reserved, in comparison to people in the States, especially my own personal experiences. I grew up in a small town. I attended university in a small town, and so everybody was always up in each other's business, and everyone always said hello to each other and was very open and tight-knit with one another. And here in the Czech Republic, it seems a little different, to where people keep more to themselves until they really get to know you or really break through that barrier. And then they are more open to talking and being honest with you. So it has been interesting being here and getting to know people and kind of having that initial barrier and initial privacy of people keeping more to themselves. But when I do get to know people, or when people reach out to me and want to get to know more about me, they are very invested. So when I get invited to lunch or to a meal or even on a walk, the expectation of people is that it seems to be that I will spend all day with them, or like as soon as they reach out to me and want to get to know me, then they are invested and they want to spend a lot of time with me and really want to get to know me. So even though at first it's a little harder and people are more quiet and closed off, but once you do make that initial contact, then it is easier to talk with people and to be welcomed into their homes. So I will share a story of an exception to people being more quiet and closed off. So there was one instance where I was at church, and it was before the service started, and so I was standing towards the front of the church, and an older man came up to me. He saw me across the room, and he came up to where I was standing, and he started talking to me in rapid fire Czech, and he was just going on, and he seemed to be telling some kind of story, and so I was just standing there, and I didn't want to interrupt him or break through what he was talking about, so I was just standing, and I was kind of nodding along, and listening to him. And even though I couldn't understand anything of what he was saying, I did feel very involved somehow, or like, even though I didn't know what the story was about, I was just happy that he was talking to me and sharing with me whatever it is that he was sharing. So he was talking very enthusiastically and seemed to be telling a very entertaining story. And at one point he started laughing, and so I started laughing because I felt connected somehow, even though I didn't understand. So at this point, the pastor's wife observed our interaction from across the room, and she came over and she told him that I actually did not understand what he was saying because I only speak English. And so through her being the translator, he told her that, he was very sorry. He didn't know that I didn't understand, but that he just knew that I was new to town or new to the church, and he wanted to come and introduce himself and tell me a little bit about himself. So that was a funny experience, and it was an exception because he just came right up to me and started telling me about himself and about his life. And that experience was fun because even though it can be hard sometimes to get to know people here, sometimes an instance like that occurs where it's just joyful and not stressful. And even though we did have a big communication barrier, at least it was nice to know that he was trying to get to know me and trying to tell me about himself. And so I felt very connected and very happy to have that experience with him.
Thanks for spending 5 minutes with a missionary. To learn more about Hayden, go to lcms.org/Rensner. You can also sign up for her newsletter using the link in the show notes. You can find this podcast on kfuo.org/missionary podcast or your favorite podcasting app. Join the LCMS International Mission community on Facebook or Instagram at LCMS International Mission.